Several years down the line, when China will no longer be a major economy, analysts will get down to find out where the country went wrong, and they will end up at one common conclusion: Jinping's Galwan misadventures. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Piyush, and in this video I will tell you how, since the Galwan misadventure of China, India has hurt China where it hurts the most, and that is its economy. Let's begin. China's economy was rising at a good pace. At one point, it seemed that it was all set to rule the world. Almost everything that the world used was made in China. But in 2020, things changed. Jinping decided to station Chinese troops at the Indo-Tibetan border. Soon, the Indian and Chinese troops were locked in an eyeball-to-eyeball standoff. The next thing we know, troops from both the sides clashed at the Galwan Valley. The Indian army thrashed the Chinese PLA and its wimpy soldiers. And meanwhile, in New Delhi, the Indian government decided that it was time to bring down the Chinese economy. So, India is now replacing China as world's export hub. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted, India set an ambitious target of $400 billion of goods exports and achieved this target for the first time ever. I congratulate our farmers, weavers, MSMEs, manufacturers, exporters for this success. This is a key milestone in our Aatmanirbhar Bharat journey. This was for the first time that the actual numbers have met the government's annual export target since 2014. The target has been achieved 9 days ahead of schedule. It effectively means that India exports merchandise worth over $1 billion every day and $33 billion every month. India's export growth has been phenomenal indeed. There has been over 21% growth in exports over the previous record high of $330 billion, which was achieved in the financial year 2019 in the pre-COVID era. The sudden growth has been powered by the rising commodity pricing, growing consumer demand, and expansionary monetary policy formulated by advanced economies in response to the pandemic. A difficult financial year 21 was marked by repeated lockdowns, travel restrictions, industry shutdowns, and dipping consumer demand. These factors coalesced to rupture the global supply chains. It became clear that a post-pandemic world won't be the same as a pre-pandemic world. China itself was hit by a shortage of raw materials like coal and iron ore, jamming of ports, tight lockdowns under Xi Jinping's zero-COVID strategy, and trade wars with the US and EU. On the other hand, India recovered particularly well from the pandemic. Apart from the first wave of the pandemic, there never came a time in India when the workforce was lying idle or industries shut. Soon, India made it a point to chip away at China's years-old export sector advantage. Take the steel sector, for example. China traditionally dominated the global steel industry with over half of the world's steel production. However, Xi Jinping's insistence on not importing Australian coal led to a slowdown in China's steel industry. So who filled in the vacuum? India, of course. In the first 10 months of financial year 2022, India earned foreign exchange worth $19.2 billion from iron and steel exports, as opposed to $12.1 billion in financial year 2021. India is therefore capitalizing on China's bleeding export industry. The Chinese manufacturing sector is already in a precarious condition. All that the Indian policymakers need to do now is to fill in the vacuum being left behind by China. And this is exactly what they seem to be doing. With motivating factors like the production-linked incentive scheme, India's export industry is already worth $400 billion. And it is set to keep rising further until and unless China is totally killed out of the global supply chains.